Hello and welcome. I am currently working on an animation project that's going to be one of my bigger projects. It's probably going to take quite a long time. So this is just a progress video. It might be a little long because I'm going to kind of be going into the extensive what we've done, what we're currently doing, what the next steps are, and what the long-term kind of plan is. I just want to give you guys like a background tour of the making of the video. And also the story for the characters in the video is incomplete. So there was a lot of participation chances for you guys, the viewers, to kind of participate a little bit and have a little bit of a sway in how the story turns out for these characters and if I make more videos about them. So the reason that I'm doing this animation video, which is kind of different from what I've done in the past, is that it was actually a conversation I had with my dad. So me and my dad were talking. He has a social media platform of his own, and he's been doing it for quite a longer chunk of time than I have. I was talking with him about how I have like, I think it's 1.3 thousand subscribers. However, I haven't really gained any subscribers over the last 2 years. I've been posting, but I haven't been, no one's been interacting. I post, but nothing happens. And I was like, sure, they get views, but nobody comments. No one, no one interacts with it. No one subscribes. They see it, they like it, and they move on. And that's not what I want. I wanted people to interact with this video. First, he asked what I did 2 years ago to get the 1,000 subscribers. And I told him that I made an animation video. Now, I think the reason that that animation video got as many views and subscribers and comments and interactions as it did was because I jumped on something that was kind of trending, but I jumped on it pretty quickly. And it was for the Cinderella Snapped video. And I think it's sung by Jax, but I'll have to confirm that. And people were making like edits about it, but nobody was, they were all clips of the Disney princesses or things like that. So I wanted to do my own original twist on it. I jumped on and pumped out virtually half of the song into an animation video, and it went very wild. However, it gave me extreme burnout afterwards because I did not like the art style I used. It was not the way I typically did things. I kind of skipped a lot of steps and kind of cheapened it so that I could get a lot of frames done relatively quickly. And so after a certain point, I was like, the video is great, I hate the art, and I hate making it. So I never finished the full video, which was my intention. I explained all this to my dad, and he said, well then, do that again. I was like, what do you mean? And he was like, do another animation video, but do it better this time. Do it the way you like to do it. So I then went and was just listening through my playlist of songs, kind of my YouTube For You suggestions of the songs I typically listen to. I was just trying to find a song that properly made me hallucinate, kind of. Maladaptive daydream and come up with a story, which is how I come up with most of my stories, is through music. And the song Hungry for Another One by JT, I think there's 2 channels. The one that wrote the song is JT Music, and then they have another one called JT Gaming, where they play through a lot of the games, and they typically write songs for video games. So the song in particular, Hungry for Another One, is from the video game Little Nightmares, which my brothers love and I love. I've played through it, and I'm not a big video game person, so that was very fun for me. And I came up with this story. I really liked it. So the first thing I did was to kind of get an idea of the themes and aesthetics I wanted. So I first went to Pinterest, which always very helpful for stories. And I made these little character aesthetic boards. I don't know if that's a proper term for them, The original base that I'm showing here, I got off of Pinterest, but I edited a few of the things because they weren't exactly what I liked. And I found that this is very helpful when making characters. It's helped me more than long character sheets that other like authors and things have suggested I use to make characters. And that just doesn't work for me. I'm a lot more of a visual person. So this helped me a lot more, and you are free to screenshot it and use it as much as you'd like. So these were the two characters I came up with. There's character A and character B. They do not currently have names. I then went about kind of piecing together character illustrations, trying to get a feel for their color palettes, their aesthetics, their kind of their wardrobe, the build of the characters, and mostly their faces. Faces are kind of the part of characters I struggle with making the most because I never have a clear image of a character's face in my head. I kind of have the character, I have their body, I have their clothes, I have their hairstyle, but the face in my head is always blurred. And I always want it to look a certain way, even though I don't know what that way is. And so when I get to the face, I'm just hoping that whatever I make clicks in my head really well. That's always a really daunting part of the character design for me. But I kind of put these together, and I put together some quick sketches to kind of get a feel for it. Then what I started to do, once I had kind of this is the story and the themes and the characters that are going to kind of take you through the story, I went about planning out how to actually do the animation. So the first step I did was to copy and paste the lyrics into a Google Doc, and then I broke up the blocks of lyrics into kind of more or less scenes. It's just kind of, this is what I feel like is going to work best together with this scene, etc., etc. And then there was a lot of just listening to the song over and over and over again. I've probably listened to Hungry for Another One on repeat maybe over 100 times by this point. I'll probably be sick of the song by the time I'm done with this, and it'll take me 2 years before I ever want to listen to it again. And so I would just listen to it on repeat and kind of try to put together a cohesive story going through it, and sketch along the way. So I made a bunch of these little sketches. I designed kind of some of the rooms and things like that that would be, repeatedly revisited. I'm actually working with another artist that I am very close with who does 3D modeling. And they're very good at it. They do it mostly for video games, but in this instance, they were very happy to help me do it for my characters because admittedly, I am very bad at human proportions. I can do faces and clothes and all that jazz pretty well, and I like the way I do it, but I can never get down human anatomy. I flunked anatomy class in school, and I don't think I have ever recovered. I am trying to take on the process of learning the basics again, which is kind of a humiliating process, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know, maybe I'll post it. I'm sure a lot of people have had instances where they've had to go back to the beginning to revisit the simpler stages of the process, if you will. Back onto the proper topic, the person who is collaborating with me has made the character models, so essentially just blank puppets that are the relative bodily proportions of the characters. They took it a step further by 3D modeling out some of the rooms. So that is currently in process. However, there's only so much they can do as I make the sketches and then have to send them over, and then they have to 3D model it, so they can only work as fast as I do. I then went about dual wielding the two processes of both making these sketches and designing the character design, finishing them up. Currently, I have 2 done for character A, which I'm pretty proud of. I actually really like the way it turned out. It wasn't what I had pictured in my head, strangely enough, but I was very proud of it. I'm still not sure about the color palette, though. The story, quite honestly, is a bit kind of a horror gore story, so I don't know if the color palette for character A is quite to my liking, but we'll have to see, and it may change along the way. I don't know. What do you think? How do you think the color palette works? You're gonna have to let me know. You guys' participation, I don't know if I've said this before, is going to be a big part of this process, as you may have heard me calling them character A and character B. They do not have names. It's something that I did not decide on, but I wanted to leave up to you guys to decide the names. So that is something completely in your hands to work out amongst yourselves, and I'll check the comments pretty regularly to see your guys' suggestions. On the subject of the characters, the story itself is not very child approved. None of my stories ever really are. So we'll have to see. I'm gonna see how much story I can put here on YouTube without getting taken down. If they take down my videos, I'm just gonna go over to Nebula. Most people who do things that get taken down by YouTube a lot have moved to Nebula. A lot of my favorite creators are over there, so I'm thinking about moving over there eventually, and if they take down my YouTube videos, I might just go ahead and do that. But the story itself, at least through this song, it's mostly from the perspective of character A. And the rest of it is up to you guys. You get to make up the names, the storyline is all in your chaotic, lovely hands. But as far as we've done for the animatic in general, is a lot of sketches, and we are in progress with the character designs and the environment modeling. We're going to keep working on it, me and Myth Frolic, and we will continue to post updates videos. I will put a link to the person I'm working with. I will put a link to their channels and everything in the description if you would like to go check them out as well. I highly recommend that, along with the JT music. I love a lot of their songs, and you should definitely go check that out. Comment any ideas you have for names or futuristic plot of these characters. This is not a hero story. I do want to remind you of that. It's not going to end well. That's all I know. But I am happy to take all of your very twisted suggestions in the comments. All right, thank you for sitting through this. If you enjoyed it, great. Please subscribe, and you can stay up to date with all the future videos that'll be coming out about this. I don't have a time frame for when it's going to be finished. It'll probably take a while, though. This is not going to be simple, quick project. Thus, the reason I am posting update videos throughout what I'm doing. I'm going to get back to working on those sketches and flushing out some of the scenes I still don't have complete. And I will see you guys the next time I am making an update video. Have a lovely day. Don't get murdered. I'll see you guys next time.